Hello everyone, my name is Nahum Baba. I'm here today to introduce a few concepts about Java interview questions like fundamental Java or core Java concepts. So let's go ahead and talk about those concepts. It's really important idea to know as a Java developer, especially if you are a new Java developer or if you are new for Java. This is really a good introduction part, so please pay attention and read each questions. If you have any question after those questions, please post your questions. I'll try to answer them. Okay. All right. The first thing we need to look as a Java developer is we all should understand what is Java. It's a programming language. As you guys know, there are different programming languages. Like some of them are object-oriented programming language. Some of them are not. For example, JavaScript, Java, Python, and so forth. So what's Java? Java is a fast, secure, reliable, robust class-based object-oriented programming language. See here, there are different concepts you should note here. Java is a class-based object-oriented programming language, and what's class, what's object is another concept you should understand. What's class? Class is a template or a blueprint used to create objects. And a class contains Java bytecode that can be executed in the Java virtual machine. Okay, so we need to have a class. We need to create a class when we work in Java programming languages. And from that class, we need to create an object of a class. And what's an OOP? We say Java is an OOP or object-oriented programming language. What's an OOP means? OOP stands for Object-Oriented Programming Language. Object-oriented programming language is about creating an object that contains both data and methods. Alright, let's go ahead and see the next question. Here there is another question you should ask as a Java developer. We talk about class, of course, and besides the class there is something called interface. What's an interface? An interface is an abstract class. It's a class, okay? But what kind of class? It's an abstract class that is used to group related methods with empty bodies. When we create a class, or a method, this method has a body. What's a method body? We will see that in the further discussion. But, however, one thing you should understand is an interface is an abstract class that is used to group related methods with empty bodies, so it doesn't have a body. Interface method doesn't have body or doesn't include these two curly braces. This and these curly braces. They will not have that in an interface. Interface must be implemented in another classes. To be accessible, we have to implement it in another class. For example, we can say interface. Here, interface animal. We use the curly braces, and inside of it we have two methods: public void animal sound, public void run. These are two methods we created inside of this interface, and this interface doesn't have method bodies. Like an interface, there is an abstract class. What's an abstract class? An abstract class is a class that declares using abstract keywords. We need to use the abstract keywords to create an abstract class, and we used an interface keyword to create an interface. It may or may not include abstract methods. Abstract classes can be instantiated or create an object of class. It cannot be instantiated. Here is the point, like when you create an abstract class, you can access it without creating an object of a class. But if the class is not an interface, or if the class is not an abstract class, you have to create an object of a class to access that class. Whereas in abstract class, You don't need to create that. Okay? Alright, let's go ahead and look at another question. What's an object? What's an object? Okay, we say Java is an object-oriented programming language. We talk about objects. So here, what's an object? In Java, object is created from a class. Objects are an instance of a class. Like you have a class, for example, let's say public class animal. We created animal class. Okay, from this animal class, we need to create an object of a class. That's what object means. Object is created from a class. You have a class and you create an object from that class. And assume this is a simple term, like you create an object from the class you created using a new keyword. The other thing we should look here is what's data type in Java. When we talk about programming languages, we talk about data types, like what kind of data types they hold. For example, if we talk about SQL, there is a data type. If you talk about Java, there is a data type. If you talk about PHP, PHP has its own data types. The same scenario here, Java has data type. There are two data types in Java. These are the primitive data type and reference or object data types. These primitive data types are 8 data types, or reference or object data types are different from the primitive data types. Okay, so now another thing we should understand here as a developer is what is the source code. Okay, we have IDE, integrated development. Let's say, for example, Eclipse, or you can have any kind of IDE that works with Java. And we need to type these source codes. Like we have source code refers to the code that's generated by human or programmer or a developer like you. This source code has to be converted to bytecode. Before that, what's the bytecode? Bytecode is an intermediate code between the source code and the machine code. Here we are talking about different types of code. Like we have source code, we have bytecode, and we have machine code we're talking about. So here the compiler comes to play the point. What's the compiler? The compiler translates this source code instruction into Java bytecode instruction. So you type your source code and you need to compile that source code to bytecode. So the compiler converts this source code into bytecode. Then JVM comes to the point. What's JVM? JVM stands for Java Virtual Machine, is the program that reads the Java bytecode into bytecode instruction and executes them. Simply, JVM called an interpreter. That's why Java is called an interpreted language. Another thing here we need to know as developer is what's JDK. JDK, or Java Development Kit, is a software that is used to create a Java program. There are different types of JDK like Java Standard Edition, Java Enterprise Edition, Java Micro Edition, and so forth. So JDK is simply it's a software that's used to create a Java program. And another thing is what is JRE. JRE stands for Java Runtime Environment. Is a piece of software that is designed to run other software. JRE contains Java class libraries, the Java class loader, and Java virtual machine. Alright, let's go ahead and watch the next one. In the next tutorial, we'll talk about what's stack and heap in Java, what's the new keyword, what's the control flow statement, and what's package, and also I'll prepare another programs too. If you like this tutorial, please subscribe my YouTube channel, like and share it. Thank you for watching and have a good day.